Hi, this video is for my daughter. She's 3 years old right now in 2021. Um, I named her Sophia, that's her middle name, because, well, wisdom is basically her name. So there's something that happened to me after I had a child that changed me forever. Becoming a father, not only of a child, but of a daughter, particularly, has caused me to reflect much more upon the world that we live in, the world of men, the world of brutality and of the inhumane treatment of men by other men and by men against women, women in particular. Something definitely changed when I became a father. I feel a lot more of a emotional tug to bring about a radical change in this world, not through violence, but through wisdom, through Sophia. And I couldn't be the person that I am if I didn't view this this charge to change the world as part of my fatherly duty. Because if I don't protect her, who will? If I don't change this, if I don't lead the charge in changing this culture and this world, then who will? Because there's a lot of people who see what I'm seeing. A lot of people, a lot of fathers. There's plenty of people out there that are not fathers, that want to change the world as they see fit. There are plenty of people who, if anything, spit on the importance of family and the importance of fatherhood, the importance of cohesion in the society in which we live, so that the children growing up within it can have peace and know that there is security in and coherence and consistency in their lives. The children of the world are being raised by single mothers and by broken homes, particularly in the United States. The worst hit are the people that are considered minorities, who really, I don't like that term. I think it's a disgusting term, because it doesn't matter whether or not you're a minority or a majority. It is irrelevant. What matters is that you're a human life, and that human life be protected and developed and grown and enlightened. That's what matters. And there's a certain amount of impatience that I have for this longing, this movement towards a better world. I don't have the patience anymore in a lot of ways. Call it a flaw of character, but I don't. And I've recently been sort of having myself watch the movies about all of these kings and the early crusades and the brutality of the early Middle Ages, and it makes me angry. It makes me sad to think of the tragedies that led to the world which we live in today, and the insincere attempt to brush all of that away and to pretend like modern civilization is beyond that, when in all actuality it is a facade. The people who have power and control over the world, they're still enslaving people. There's still a slaves trade, there's human trafficking. Women and children are still being moved as chattel and as slaves in the world today. That's a fact. That's a truth that we have to, as human beings in this world that we live in, bear with a certain amount of disgust and disdain for our own complacency and willful compliance with because we haven't overturned the rulers. We don't stand up and take it over, as did Robert the Bruce with the Scots, William Wallace. Today, these people are viewed as heroic because they stood up against tyranny. And what are we doing today? Sitting back and allowing tyranny to grow and become more and more powerful as we ourselves become more and more dependent on that system. It's a shame. It's pathetic. And it's sad. I'm not advocating for violence. Those kinds of acts are unnecessary in the times in which we live. All that we have to do, because of the civility, the pretended civility of this world, and granted there is still the threat of violence because of the order followers who prop all of this up because they want some money to be the very pittance of these rulers. And of course, these people are the worst of our society, worse than criminals, these people. Because the criminals exist sheerly because of the fact that the world is corrupt. But who corrupted it? Not the criminals, not the obvious criminals, the ones that are put in the news and plastered everywhere for us to see. Those aren't the criminals. The real criminals are the Bernie Madoffs. The real criminals are the royal family. The real criminals are the people who are living off of the criminality and inhumanity that history built for them. Those are the real criminals. And I'm a father of a little girl who's more likely to be molested and raped than to be put into a position of the President of the United States. Or of any kind of position. I wouldn't want her to be a president of the United States because it's not a noble position, because the very premise of one person ruling or leading the rest of society is an absolute absurdity, especially in the times in which we live. It made sense 100 years ago, 200 years ago, but it doesn't make sense today. Women, and I'm going to quote John Lennon's song, okay? Women are the nigger of the world. That is a song by John Lennon. And it's inarguable. And I'm here as a father speaking the truth that this reality needs to be shattered. That this culture needs to be thrown into the waste bin, and we need to create a new one. A new culture, a new civilization based on principles instead of prostitution. We've sold ourselves down into the cesspit that these criminals have built for us. And it's time to take our lives back from that tyranny. And we have to do it for the children, because the children are the ones that are going to be the most affected by this world that they're building right now, this technocratic dictatorship of information and the gateways to said information. We have to destroy it. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is to free ourselves from the slavery of their indoctrination and propaganda. Because that's the real war that's being waged. It's a cold war, a cold civil war against the citizenry of this country by the criminal elements within the government. It can't be ignored anymore. And there's plenty of people who are aware of the incredible injustice and the depravity within our system. So I invite you to reach out to me and to other people with the purpose of creating new media and new culture for this society, and to make that a more popular way of communicating, namely in the form of education and in the form of self-preservation, of martial arts, of independence. Because in reality, the government's not going to save you. It is the criminal element that we need to fight against. But it's not the white folks. It's not white. To call it white is to really sort of besmirch the entire reality behind the culture that it is. It has nothing to do with color of skin. It has to do with the amount of money in someone's bank account and the lineage of that money and where it came from. I guess that's it. I love you.